Happy Sunday, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor, and it's time for the Weekly Rundown. It's National Flag Day, and the day is meant to show respect for the U.S. flag and what it represents. And this story goes just perfectly with it. John Rink and Jimmy Matthews started walking on a mission to bridge the gap between civilian and military worlds and raise awareness for veteran issues such as mental health, PTSD, and homelessness. Their mission is called Buddy Watch Walk Peer to Peer. John started on the Tybee Island Pier in Georgia on October 1st, and Jimmy joined him in Pearl, Mississippi. Last Friday, the two made their way through the Coachella Valley with a stop at the Veterans Memorial in Coachella and had lunch with some CHP officers.
If walking 2,462 miles, if I could save one veteran's life, it was worth it. I'd do it all over again. Just the people we've met, the support that we received, and the messages from our supporters, keep us going every day. We're not done after the pier. We have another walk planned March 25th, 2022 from Normandy, France to Berlin, Germany.
Their goal was to finish the walk today in Santa Monica. You can search them on social media to take a look at their awesome day. Weddings in recent months have looked very different due to the pandemic. Some people have postponed their weddings, others have condensed to smaller guest lists, and some have even canceled the big day and all. But some have also found very creative alternatives. Well, Coachella Valley couple Jeremy Johnson and Jim McClelland tied the knot at Regal Cinemas 16 in Rancho Mirage this week. The two have been together for 25 years and came to the conclusion that now was the time.
It was kind of interesting. It's not my first thought of, but at least I can always say throughout the legacy, we got married at the theater.
Riverside County set up the location and let the couple choose the date they wanted. Some friends and family joined them at a distance, and Jeremy and Jim also had friends that got married the same day. Okay, now have you heard of the egg drop challenge? Well, if you haven't, people basically try to get an egg to drop into a glass of water in a unique way. Well, this isn't new, it's actually a comeback challenge. And take a look at this 6-year-old Zeke, who did it pretty dang well.
My dad, a real egg in a full cup of water.
Ooh, are you sure? That sounds dangerous.
Going all on your forehead first, doing the base.
He stacked objects on his father's forehead, including a full cup of water and an egg. Will his dad get a shower and breakfast at the same time? Let's see. And there it is. Zeke does it. Turns out Zeke is something of a trick shot specialist, and he has his own Twitter account if you feel like following him. I must say, that was excellent, Zeke. If you're not about staying home and doing challenges, then what about hitting the club? Dutch youth hit the club this week, well, sort of. They took part in the country's first attempts to resume nightlife. Clubbers booked ahead of time to enjoy short sets of electronic dance music. Now, during the show, they were restricted to chairs. The club's promoter said the original plan had been to have guests dance while standing in place 5 feet apart. But local authorities said they had to sit in chairs, at least for now. Now, a maximum of 30 guests were allowed in the building at a time, and the club plans to expand that to 100 people in July. Now, as demonstrations continued this week, National Guard members were seen dancing with protesters in Atlanta, Georgia.
Slide to the right. Crisscross. Crisscross. Cha-cha, real smooth.
Protests in the city were destructive in previous days, so community members said seeing scenes like this was a great sign of relief. Speaking of protests, an 18-year-old in Buffalo, New York was watching chaos in his city on Facebook Live. He saw some demonstrations become very destructive and he just wanted to help. The teen left his house in the middle of the night and spent the next 10 hours cleaning up his community. Now, as Olivia Proya reports, the community is repaying his kindness.
A 2004 red convertible Mustang. It's Matt Block's pride and joy.
I couldn't come to grips with selling it, and this was a good way for me to get rid of it and know someone that gets it is going to appreciate it, I think.
So Block is giving the car to Antonio Gwynn.
Like, it doesn't feel real. It seems like this is like a movie just going on.
The 18-year-old Hutch Tech student spent around 10 hours cleaning up Bailey Avenue in Buffalo after the violence Monday night because he says it's something his late mom would have done.
The car he sent me a picture of was the same exact car that my mom first had got me. And it's the same color, same everything.
Then comes in Bob Bryceland from Bryceland Insurance Agency. They will be covering Antonio's insurance for 1 year.
I just felt compelled to help him out, and we need to get together, our whole city, and show people how, there's so many good people here.
And there's one more thing. Antonio says he's been offered a full ride to Medaille College.
I literally stopped, pulled over, and then I started crying. So did my great aunt. And my little cousin did also.
His original plan was to go to trade school and save up for college. Now he can complete that goal right away by studying business and studying mechanics on the side. This way, one day, he can start his own repair shop.
I always wanted to just be someone that can help everyone with their car problems. So this is like a great opportunity I have right in front of me.
And of course, Antonio plans to continue to pay it forward.
I've been mainly helping all my family that's been there for me so far. Like my great aunt, I spoiled her. I helped pay her rent. I got her the same phone I have.
Gwen's mother died in 2018, and he says he just hopes she'd be proud of him, which I'm sure she is. Now, George Floyd tributes have been going on worldwide. Well, did you happen to see this tribute pop up in the Valley? Artist Mr. Alec has been painting murals for years and recently brought his talents to Palm Springs. This mural is the first of 5 planning to be painted across the city. Mr. Alec currently lives in Watts, where you can see much of his artwork. Now, sometimes it's the little things we do that end up having the biggest impact, and that's how it began for 2 best friends in Rochester, New York, who wanted to show a sense of unity after the death of Floyd and in the midst of such unrest in our country. Their simple message did just that, and as Dan Gross found out, it even got the attention of a country music superstar.
It was a simple request: black or white, relax and have a beer. Best friends Benjamin Smith and Marcus Ellis set up in their driveway, hoping that people would just stop by. Turns out they were in for so much more than that. And thousands of reactions and shares across the entire country later.
It's insane. Awesome, brother. It feels so great. Such a good feeling knowing that we're making such a big impact on the community. And
now, sure enough, this message even made it to Brad Paisley. He stopped by their party on a Zoom call, shocking the best friends.
Man, I am so thrilled to meet you, first of all, face to face like this. I'm so inspired by you, and we thought we should deliver more beer than you can possibly drink.
Well, thank you. Cheers.
Appreciate it, Brad.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of beer shipped directly to their house just hours before the call.
You're going to be... Yeah, this is going to be a popular destination on this street.
The timing couldn't be better for Paisley, who just released a new song called No I in Beer.
Grab a long neck bottle or a big old pint and let's all have a few.
The country megastar even hung around just like it was a block party for the next half hour.
And is this the oldest boy?
This is Connor. He's turning 13 this year.
Beer and camaraderie might be soothing salves in this time, but Paisley and Smith and Ellis have never forgotten the true heart of the message.
I'm trying to hear out my friends in the black community, and I know that's what you guys are kind of together doing the same thing, I think, trying to learn. And I'm all ears, always have been. I've had big ears my whole life. No, it's like
Yo, it means the world, from space and back to another galaxy to the other Milky Ways and the whatever. It means a lot.
It's kind of, I feel like through the rioting and the protests, I kind of felt like I was being torn apart, and it was rough.
No, look at all those guitars.
Sorry.
You're right, bro.
And this is what builds it back up.
Isn't that so awesome? Benjamin and Marcus actually met building cell phone towers together. They have different backgrounds. Benjamin is a Marine and Ellis came from Long Island, but they've been best friends for years. Now coming up after the break, a cop and kid hoop it up, Air Jordan scores big at sea, firefighters help a baby fox out of a tricky spot, and a Swedish spa village could be yours. Stick around, the Weekly Rundown will be right back. Welcome back to the Weekly Rundown, where we wrap up what's been trending throughout the week. A 7-year-old's new friendship with a cop forged under a basketball hoop is the kind of story his mom says the world needs. Jeremy Roth has this and more.
Call it a b-ball bond. Or just some one-on-one time. A cop and a first grader in Massachusetts have scored a unique friendship on and off the court. It started when Worcester police officer James Conway was leaving a call and spotted 7-year-old Mackay Louisant playing ball in front of his house. The officer asked Mackay's mom if he could join in, and the two hooped it up. Mackay's mom captured the matchup on video and posted it to social media, where it's received hundreds of likes and shares. At a tense time, she says this is exactly what the community needs. Since meeting, the pair have squared off again, which is good, because it sounds like Officer Conway needs the practice. Hey, if you've got some extra cash lying around, this Swedish spa village could be yours if you play your cards right. The entire fully functional village of Sätrabrunn is up for auction. Located north of Stockholm, it's been in continuous use as a spa town for 320 years. In addition to the hotel, restaurant, and spa, the village also has a school, a church, and its own spring water bottling operation. Not to mention 84 additional acres of gorgeous forested landscape. But soothing Scandinavian serenity will cost you. The bidding starts at $7 million. $7
million, huh? I guess I gotta skip out on this one. Maybe in the next bidding war. Now you're looking at 64,000 green turtles on the edge of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. How do we know how many? Drones. A newly published study showed scientists who are tracking the endangered population owe their most accurate assessments to the use of the unmanned aerial vehicles. Researchers originally tried tracking the turtles by marking their shells with a stripe of non-toxic paint, but came away with an inaccurate count. With goals to help the endangered turtles, the teams found drones provide much more accurate population surveys and, of course, some gorgeous imagery. From the sea to the air, another Australian study reveals that an ultra-rare nocturnal breed of parrot may not actually be able to see well in the dark. I feel you, little parrots. The study tracked the elusive night parrot and found that despite being primarily active in the dark, its vision is similar to that of daytime parrots, which is not great. In fact, they believe this could be contributing to its critically endangered status. Now to Scottish firefighters who helped free a curious baby fox that got stuck in a rusty wheel. Don't we all love firefighters? Foxes are known to be a noticeable part of British urban wildlife, but scenes like this are not uncommon almost anywhere. Firefighters here at home actually helped free a little puppy earlier this year. Thankfully, neither curious critter was injured. Michael Jordan just can't stop scoring big. First by air and now at sea. The former NBA superstar helped reel in a 442-pound marlin while sport fishing. Jordan and his crew were competing in a blue marlin tournament in North Carolina. Jordan's boat, the cleverly named Catch 23, was one of more than 200 vessels participating. The tournament featured a record purse of over $3.3 million. While the hefty haul by Jordan and his team was impressive, it wasn't enough to nab the win. At least 3 other boats had already scored marlins weighing over 450 pounds. Now that's a big fish. And if you think that's a whale of a tale, take a look at this. A crew off the coast of Maryland had a rare close encounter with an enormous great white shark. Stephen White recorded the sighting after his boat, the Fish Finder, lived up to its name. White estimated the shark's length at 15 to 18 feet and possibly weighing over 2,000 pounds. Experts say great whites are common in the area, but close encounters are rare, and White agrees. Coming up after the break, we're checking out what's happening in Hollywood. There's loads of music news, plus Manny's pick of the week. And later, a story like none other about a new beauty queen firefighter. Yep, I'll explain. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the Weekly Rundown. Loads of music news this week, from the top charts to an all-female band that started in the 60s. Here's David Daniel with more.
As expected, Lady Gaga's Chromatica debuted atop the Billboard 200 album chart, her 6th #1 on that chart in 9 years. It's been a bit longer for Jimmy Buffett, whose Life on the Flip Side took 2nd this week, the highest charting album for the veteran singer-songwriter since he topped the chart with License to Chill nearly 16 years ago. When BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter, the K-pop group's fans took notice. Specifically, its fan-based charity fundraising group, One in an Army. The fan group raised another $1 million, donating it to bailouts for arrested protesters, groups fighting racial injustice, and related organizations. The veteran all-female band Ace of Cups thinks the world could use some love right about now. The video for their new song, Made for Love, features members of San Francisco's Prince Dance Project. Friends of the band, Jackson Brown, Bob Weir, and David Freiberg, add their voices to the song off Ace of Cups' upcoming album, Sing Your Dreams, due out August 18th. Singing along in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Now it's time to check in with everyone's favorite movie critic, Manny the Movie Guy.
Hello movie buffs, 2 big films for you. So let's begin with Artemis Fowl.
Oh no, this isn't about the father. This is about the son, Artemis Fowl.
That's Josh Gad, looking very much like Harry Potter's Hagrid. He's Mulch, the kleptomaniac dwarf who serves as our narrator in this half-hearted attempt to bring the Owen Colfer novel to life. Poor on character development but rich in special effects, this science fiction fantasy mixes the old and the new to come up with a by-the-numbers story about a super smart boy who must save his father from avenging fairies.
Hello? Your family has taken something of great value from us.
Dame Judi Dench as a leprechaun commander seems out of place here, but Colin Farrell as Artemis Fowl Sr. is the heart of the film. Too bad that heart is not allowed to be.
But look, my work is coming to an end.
Director Kenneth Branagh's take is low on magic but high on mechanics, much like this steampunk bad starter. This fairy tech has a good last half, even though the surprise plot twist near the end is anticlimactic. Thank the fairy gods you don't have to pay at the box office for this. You can stream it on Disney+. And for that, Artemis Fowl gets 2 out of 4, The Irish Blessing, Kisses.
I like your tattoos.
A much better film is the dramedy The King of Staten Island, new on digital and on demand.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
This semi-autobiographical tale has Pete Davidson as Scott, an aimless man who spends his days smoking pot and hanging out with friends, much to the dismay of his mom, played by Marisa Tomei.
What's going on?
Co-written by Davidson, this movie is an homage to his dad, a firefighter who died on 9/11. It's important to know that in order to understand the film.
The first guy you date in 17 years is a fireman, just like that? You don't think that's weird?
Produced and directed by Judd Apatow, the tone of the film is all over the place. It's a comedy about family, a drama about growing up, and even has some action heist scenes. Yet, it works perfectly because it was handled with such maturity and grace and Davidson's profound performance. And for that, The King of Staten Island gets 3.5 out of 4, a slice of life, Kisses. I'm Manny the Movie Guy, spreading my wings for The King of Staten Island.
Thanks, Manny. Now, still to come after the break, the story of a new firefighter recruit making quite the name for herself. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Weekly Rundown. Now, there's no way to ever thank our firefighters enough for the work they do day in and day out, especially right now. And even with the challenges and dangers brought on by COVID, new recruits are stepping up to join the profession. Drew Wilder introduces a newly minted firefighter cadet who not only has a history of service, but also a unique hobby.
I will preserve and protect the lives and property.
53 cadets swearing their service to families in Fairfax County. For one of them, firefighter is not her first career.
It was always the second dream. I always had two dream jobs. I just happened to pursue one first.
28-year-old Jordan Goddard was a school teacher in Prince George's County. One of 4 daughters to parents who both served in the fire service. Her mother a paramedic, her father a firefighter. Jordan asked her parents about trading the classroom for the firehouse.
And she said, "What do you think?" Obviously, I was very concerned about it, knowing the hazards of this profession. More so today than in the days that I grew up.
Especially during a pandemic when every firefighter experiences new dangers. All the more reason, she says.
There was never a doubt that that was going to send me the other way. No way. I mean, my job and our job here is to help people in their times of need, and that's what we're here to do.
Jordan says whether it was education or fire service, her desire for community service grew through her pursuit of another passion. Like education, quite different than fighting fires.
Pageants have been my hobby for many, many years.
She competed locally, nationally, and internationally for 15 years and now serves as an assistant director for Miss College Park.
It introduced me to the concept of volunteerism and serving the community, which is why, part of the reason why I think I'm here now.
Here with more than 50 other new firefighters who are signing up during a pandemic to protect all of us and each other.
I relish the fact that I get to be a part of a team and a family, literally a family, that would lay down their lives for me, and I would do the same for them.
And we thank each of them for their bravery and selflessness. Isn't she awesome? We'll be right back. Not only is it National Flag Day, as I said at the start of the show, but it's also International Bath Day. So grab your bath salts and go relax this Sunday night. Now next week, the entire show will be dedicated to the class of 2020. You won't want to miss it. I'll see you right here next Sunday and on social media in the meantime. Have a great week, everyone.